Hi everyone. Hope you're having a great day and doing well for yourselves. I just want to give some context about this Q&A. I announced in my Discord server that I had the idea about doing a Q&A video, answer some questions anyone had about me and my art. The inspiration about this video came from my good friend Firebug when he did a live stream of driving a train, working on trains, and he was answering questions about his work during that stream. Just like that one, I want to give a shout out to Miss Bumblebee for the list of good questions. It gives me plenty to talk about and tell you guys mainly about me and my art background. But seriously, folks, if you guys aren't following any of the Twunty family, what are you doing? Go check them out right now and give them a follow on a Twitch. All their links will be in the description below, like always. I also want to give a shout out to the Act Man, one of my favorite gamer YouTubers. He had a art contest going back in February and March. I did this piece of him in a Halo setting, and he gave me a shout out in this video. I'll put the links in the description for all you guys to go check out. Please go check out everyone I just mentioned. Now, let's dive into drawing Superman from the new trailers and answer some questions. Question 1. When did your love for art start? My love for art started when I was born. I couldn't give you an exact age, but I can remember being 3 or 4 years old, watching my dad in his spare time drawing with charcoal. Watching him was like watching a master at works. It was just super cool. I remember being really just in awe, always watching him, and always ask if he can draw Batman or Superman for me, and he'll just grab reference and just draw one for me, and I'll be hanging it up in my room, which is why some of the pieces are all ripped up and everything. But again, it was just really cool just watching him do that. So that's where the love came from, was watching my dad. What made you want to become an artist? Not only was my dad the reason, but just seeing other works like the Renaissance, manga art, specifically Akira Toriyama, and then finally comics. Plus, I love video games and just imagining the artists behind the games, from horror to shooters. The work they do and getting paid for it, that idea was always there of, I want to do art and make a living for it. What is your favorite art medium and why? My top 3 mediums I use a lot are pencil, ink, specifically India ink, and marker. Mainly Copic markers, but I use just about any alcohol-based markers. I do sometimes use watercolor paint time to time, just for the fun, but I still lean towards markers. To specify on ink, I mainly do pens and brush pens, but I have been in class and teach myself how to ink with a dip quill pen and brush, because that's how comics were inked originally. Plus, it looks fun. It does have its cons though, like ink drying on the nib fast, cutting the paper with the nib if you're not careful, breaking the nib, you name it. But I guess that's what comes when inking the old ways and the convenience of the pens and the brush pens nowadays. Where did you find inspiration? Everywhere. Everywhere. From the Renaissance paintings to looking at my comics. Of course, I took art classes, but comics felt more like a teacher to me. Some cases that can be good, but in order for me to find my style, I had to study life. Buy anatomy books, lighting, how to draw clothing, environment, etc., which a lot of comic book artists and editors suggest doing. Study life, understand the fundamentals of art, make sure it looks correct, then understand the fundamental of storytelling and how it can work in a comic book, in a movie, a video game, any form of creation. How can that kind of storytelling and narrative art would work on any entertainment piece. All right, now with this next question, I do apologize that this answer or explanation is like super long. I just dove right in when it came to writing the script and just getting ready for this. But who is your biggest influence? I have a list of so many people, but I'll give you my top 3 and then honorable mentions. Number 1 is Todd Knock. Todd Knock blew my mind when I first watched the cartoon block video of him drawing Black Widow, and I was in search of his art in books everywhere. He has shown how to treat fans. His energy is always high and happy, smiling. The dude is someone I would like to be whenever I break into comics. Number 2 is Jim Lee. For people who love comics, everyone knows Jim Lee is one of the top dogs in comic art. No matter what his art looks correct and precise. Watching him work in live streams makes me understand how to handle a piece and not rush, but also not procrastinate. His mindset and work ethic is what also drives me. This dude quit med school just to draw comics. Spent 1 year just rolling out of bed and draw comics until he started sending samples to companies and then landing a gig at Marvel. I do have 2 videos that pretty much shows Jim Lee's like strong work ethic and mindset, which I'll go ahead and post those 2 videos down below in the description as well. Number 3, Todd McFarlane. I know, another Todd in this list. I like Todd's. Todd McFarlane's art is also eye-popping by all the detail he puts in. He may criticize his style as not as correct as Jim Lee or Mark Silvestri, but come on, this guy deserves the same seats as them. His art is what made Spider-Man go to #1 in the sale charts in the early 90s. His webbing became the go-to webbing for Spider-Man. He also values his work ethic. Editors at Marvel weren't liking how he was handling Spider-Man, told him to stop. He said sure, I'll stop, but then kept doing it because he knew his art is the reason why fans are buying the book. Even though you could argue and say that, of course, part of the sales was because of the speculator boom about buying comics, but still, we're not going to leave this out. When he left Marvel to make his company with 6 other artists, including Jim Lee, it hurt Marvel bad. That showed me the creators do matter. Now, the honorable mentions: Greg Capullo, the Kubert family, John Romita Sr. and Jr., Freddie Williams II, Tim Sale, Mark Bagley, Barry Windsor Smith, Frank Miller, Steve Ditko, and last, but definitely not least, the king of comics, Jack Kirby. Now, these 2 questions, they can go hand to hand. So these 2 questions are pretty much just like the one same answer. How have you grown since you first started drawing? And how has your style changed over the years? I will pat on myself on the back and say I've grown a lot since first holding the pencil, in which I can fly through some of the art from when I was in middle school, so 6th to 8th grade, to then high school, from 9th to 12th grade, and then finally, of course, today. A lot of it felt like came from time and repetition, but also learning all those things from books and classes. Is there any art medium you refuse to use and hate, and why? Oil paints and oil pastels. I probably just hate oil, but I tried oil painting before and was not prepared at all, so that was mainly my fault. I didn't know you couldn't use water, you needed paint thinner to wash off stuff. Oil pastels, I sort of enjoyed it in high school because I have done pieces with pastels where I was proud of, but just still didn't feel like my style. Watercolor paints and markers was still my jam. When do you think you created your most impressive artworks? I felt that whenever I have my pieces involving a setting and also having really good coloring, I do a lot of drawings with just white backgrounds, but when drawing a city to woods or having a night sky, those I do look at and go,
hey, that's pretty good.
Not to have a big ego, but this is badass. So usually those drawings, I have that kind of pat myself on the back type of feeling and feel impressed by my skills. What do you enjoy drawing the most? Of course, a lot of y'all know I love comics, so I'll just name off characters I don't get tired of drawing. Spider-Man, Wolverine, Venom, Batman, Superman, and Magneto. These guys I never get tired of drawing or doing, painting, etc. Of course, I would like to expand my roster, even add some females in there too, because I do need to draw more females so I can keep that skill set. But man, those guys, I'll never get tired of. If you were to collaborate with another artist, who would it be and why? If I could ever have the same style and skill set as Todd Knock and be in the same book as him, that would be a dream come true. Literally, if I were to, let's say, buy a trade paperback or hardcover book of a comic I would ever draw in my career, and see that in that same book or trade paperback that Todd Knock drew a few issues as well, being in that like same book with him would just blow my mind. It would be a dream come true. Like, I would be geeking like a little kid on Christmas morning. How long does your average art piece take you to complete? That can vary from if I have done this art before to this is something new for me to learn. I remembered the Halo drawing I did for the Act Man for his art contest I mentioned earlier. It took me about 6 hours because I never drew Halo. I never played it until literally before doing that artwork. Like, I was diving into the series and seeing what the hype was about. I needed reference, so I was looking at reference all day and trying to make the armor believable or close to. But if you give me my favorite characters I mentioned earlier, that would take me about 2 to 3 hours, but that can change if I'm doing backgrounds and such, so the time could increase to about 4, 5, 6, you name it. But yeah, that can vary. But when it comes to some pieces and normal pieces, about 2 to 3 hours. But alrighty, folks, that pretty much wraps up the Q&A. So I really do appreciate you guys checking this out. I hope you guys enjoy, like, subscribe. If you want to check out my Twitch, go ahead and check that out. I don't really have much of a set schedule because of classes and work and life and everything else. But please go check them out. Please go check out the Act Man, Miss Bumblebee, Firebug, the rest of the Twunty family. Thank you guys so much for the questions. B, thank you for the questions. But until then, catch you guys next time. Later.